4 minutes and 12 seconds. That is how long it took for Donald Trump to go from "there is no safe" to watching Pam Bondi spin the combination dial and pull open the door to a safe he had been hiding for over 3 years. Not in a raid. Not with a warrant. In a private meeting at Mar-a-Lago, where Trump thought he was in control of the room and the conversation and every possible outcome, until Bondi said 6 words that made his face go completely blank. "I know about the safe, Donald." Watch what happens when Trump realizes she is not bluffing. Watch him cycle through denial, deflection, anger, and something that looks like fear. Watch Bondi refuse to move on, refuse to change subjects, refuse to let him leave the room until that safe is opened and every file inside is accounted for. And watch 4 minutes and 12 seconds of a man who built an empire on secrets realize that someone finally found the one place he thought was untouchable. You need to see this from the beginning, because what happened in that room is not just about one safe. It is about a pattern, a deliberate, calculated, years-long pattern of hiding documents that should have been turned over, destroyed, or never existed in the first place. If you are new here, subscribe right now and turn on notifications, because what you are about to see is the most detailed account of what actually happened when Pam Bondi confronted Trump about the Mar-a-Lago safe, and it has been deliberately kept out of every major news cycle because nobody wants you asking what else he is still hiding. Let me set the scene for you. Mar-a-Lago, private study, 2nd floor. The room Trump uses for meetings he does not want, logged on any official calendar. Saturday afternoon, the meeting was arranged through back channels as a courtesy discussion about DOJ transition protocols. Courtesy. By the time this meeting ended, that word would be permanently removed from any description of their relationship. Trump sat behind a mahogany desk with his back to floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the golf course. Bondi sat in a leather chair directly across from him with a single manila folder on her lap and an expression that Trump would later describe to aides as prosecutorial. No small talk, no pleasantries. Bondi opened with the question that changed everything. "Donald, I need to ask you about a safe." Trump did not look up from the papers he was pretending to review. "I have several safes. Security protocol." "I am asking about a specific safe, the one installed in the storage room adjacent to this office in November 2021. Trump's hands stopped moving. "I do not know what you are talking about." November 17th, 2021. Installation company was Secure Vault Systems out of Miami. Invoice was paid through a shell company called DJT Holdings. "Do you need me to continue?" Trump looked up. "Who told you that?" "Does it matter?" "It matters if someone is making things up." "Donald, I have the installation invoice. I have the payment records. I have testimony from the installer. The safe exists. Do you want to keep denying it, or do you want to tell me what is inside? If you have made it this far and this matters to you, subscribe now and hit the bell, because what comes next is 4 separate denials before Trump finally admits the safe is real, and every denial makes the situation worse. Trump leaned back in his chair. "There are a lot of safes in this building. I cannot confirm every installation. This safe required biometric access and a 6-digit combination. That is not standard security. That is hiding something. Or protecting something. There is a difference." "What are you protecting?" "Sensitive materials, business documents, the kind of things you do not leave in a file cabinet." "What kind of business documents require biometric access?" "Proprietary information, contracts, financial records." Bondi opened the manila folder. She pulled out a single sheet of paper. "This is a deposition transcript from your former head of security. He testified that you personally instructed him to ensure no one except you had access to that safe. Not your family, not your attorneys, not even Secret Service. Just you?" Trump's jaw tightened. "He has no right to discuss my security protocols." "He was subpoenaed. He had every right. And he testified that you told him the safe contained materials that could never be disclosed." "What materials, Donald?" I do not recall that conversation. You do not recall telling your head of security to keep a safe secret from everyone, including federal agents? I have a lot of conversations about security. This was not a general conversation. This was a direct order about a specific safe containing specific materials. What materials? Trump stood up. This meeting is over. Bondi did not move. Sit down, Donald. You do not give me orders. I am not giving you an order. I am telling you that you can sit down and answer questions now, or you can sit down in front of a grand jury and answer them under oath. Your choice. Drop a comment right now and tell me if you think Trump knew Bondi had the combination, because what happens next suggests he absolutely did not. Trump sat back down. His voice was harder now. What do you want? I want to know what is in the safe. Business documents, I already told you. Then you will not mind opening it. Trump's eyes narrowed. I do not have to open anything for you. Actually, you do. Federal statute requires retention of presidential records. If that safe contains presidential records and you have not turned them over, you are in violation. If it does not contain presidential records, opening it proves that, and we move on. Either way, the safe gets opened today. You do not have a warrant. I do not need a warrant. I have your former head of security's testimony that the safe exists and contains materials you are actively concealing. That is enough for a judge to issue a warrant within the hour. Or you can open it now and we handle this privately. Trump stared at her. You are bluffing. Bondi pulled her phone from her jacket pocket. She set it on the desk between them. Call my bluff. I have a federal judge on standby. One text from me and a warrant is issued. FBI is notified and this becomes very public very fast. Or you open the safe now and we see what is inside. Trump's face went red. This is extortion. This is law enforcement. Open the safe, Donald. Subscribe now because what happens next is the moment Trump realizes he is out of options and the only choice left is compliance or consequences. Trump stood again. This time he walked to a bookshelf on the left wall. He pulled 3 books off the shelf in sequence. The bookshelf swung outward on hidden hinges, revealing a door behind it. Satisfied? Trump said. Bondi stood. Not yet. Trump pulled a key from his desk drawer. He unlocked the door. Behind it was a small climate-controlled room, maybe 6 feet by 8 feet, with a large steel safe mounted into the wall. Bondi stepped into the room. Trump followed her. The safe had a digital keypad and a biometric scanner. Trump stood in front of it without moving. Open it, Bondi said. I need to consult with my attorneys first. Your attorneys are not here. Open it. I am not opening anything without legal representation. Bondi pulled her phone back out. Then I am texting the judge. Trump's hand shot out. Wait. Bondi's thumb hovered over the screen. Waiting? Trump turned to the safe. He pressed his thumb against the scanner. A green light flashed. He typed a 6-digit code on the keypad. The lock mechanism clicked. He gripped the handle but did not turn it. Before I open this, I need assurances. You are not in a position to negotiate assurances. I need to know what you're going to do with whatever is inside. That depends on what is inside. Open it. Trump turned the handle. The door swung open. Inside the safe were 4 shelves. Each shelf was stacked with files, folders, and what looked like external hard drives. Bondi stepped closer. Start with the top shelf. What is in those folders? Trump did not answer. Bondi reached for the first folder. Trump grabbed her wrist. Do not touch those. Bondi looked at his hand on her wrist. Remove your hand, or I am calling FBI right now. Trump let go. Bondi pulled the folder from the shelf. She opened it. Inside were photographs, dozens of them. She flipped through them without expression. Then she closed the folder and looked at Trump. Who else knows these exist? Trump's voice was barely audible. No one? Where were these taken? I do not have to answer that. You absolutely have to answer that. Where were these taken? Trump looked at the floor. Various locations. Be specific. I do not remember every location. Donald, these are dated. This one says June 2019. This one says August 2019. Where were you in June 2019? Trump did not answer. Bondi set the folder on the desk and pulled the second folder from the shelf. What you are watching right now is not a negotiation. This is Pam Bondi systematically cataloging evidence that Trump has been hiding for years, and every folder makes the situation exponentially worse. The second folder contained documents. Bondi flipped through them. Financial statements, wire transfer receipts, handwritten notes. She stopped on one page. This is a transfer authorization for $340 million, dated July 2019. Recipient is listed as EI Consulting. What is EI Consulting? Trump crossed his arms. A consulting firm. Consulting on what? Various projects. What projects require $340 million? Large-scale projects. Name one. Trump did not answer. Bondi pulled her phone out again. I am texting the judge. Wait, it was a real estate consulting project. Where? Overseas. Where overseas? I do not recall the exact location. You do not recall where you sent $340 million? It was handled through intermediaries. Who? I do not remember their names. Bondi set the second folder down and reached for the third. Trump stepped between her and the safe. That is enough. You have seen enough. I will decide when I have seen enough. Move. I am invoking executive privilege. You are not the executive. Move. I am invoking attorney-client privilege. These are not attorney communications. Move, or I am making the call. Trump did not move. Bondi held up her phone. She typed a message. Trump's phone buzzed in his pocket. He pulled it out. He read the message. His face went pale. He stepped aside. Bondi pulled the third folder from the shelf. This one was thicker than the first two. She opened it and started reading. After 30 seconds, she looked up at Trump. How long have you had these? I do not know what those are. These are classified intelligence briefings, dated 2020, with your handwritten notes in the margins. Those were declassified. By whom? By me. I was president. I had declassification authority. Declassification requires documentation. Where is the documentation? It was verbal. Verbal declassification is not valid without witness confirmation and archival notification. These are still classified, and you have been storing them in a private safe for 4 years. Trump's voice rose. I had every right to keep those documents. You had every right to keep declassified copies. These are marked classified. This is a federal crime, Donald. The room went silent. Trump stared at the folder in Bondi's hands like it was a live grenade. Bondi set it with the others and reached for the fourth shelf. Trump grabbed her arm again. Stop, please. Bondi looked at him. Please? There are things in there that cannot become public. Then you should not have kept them. You do not understand what will happen if those files get out. Explain it to me. Trump let go of her arm. He sat down on the floor with his back against the wall. Bondi had never seen him sit on a floor in her life. Those files are insurance. Insurance against what? Against people who want to destroy me. What people? Powerful people. Names, Donald. Trump shook his head. If I give you names, I am dead. If you do not give me names, you're going to prison. Trump looked up at her. Can you protect me? From what? From what is in those files. That depends on what is in them. Trump gestured at the fourth shelf. Go ahead, look. Bondi pulled the first folder from the bottom shelf. She opened it. Her expression did not change, but her grip on the folder tightened. She read for 2 full minutes. Then she closed it. How long have you had this? Since 2016. Who gave it to you? It was given to me as leverage. By whom? I cannot tell you that. You do not have a choice. If I tell you, the leverage disappears and I have nothing. You have nothing anyway. The safe is open. The files are documented. Your only choice now is cooperation or obstruction. Choose. Trump stood up slowly. If I cooperate, what happens to the files? That depends on what is in them and whether they constitute evidence of crimes. And if they do, then they become evidence. Trump walked back to the desk. He sat down. He looked at Bondi. Those files implicate 17 people. Who? Senators, judges, cabinet members, people you have worked with. Bondi sat down across from him. Keep talking. If you are still watching, you understand that what you just witnessed is not just the opening of a safe. This is the opening of a case that could reshape American politics. Trump leaned forward. The files contain evidence of financial misconduct, abuse of power, and activities that would end careers. Whose careers? I am not giving you names until I have immunity. You are not getting immunity until I know what you have. Then we are at an impasse. Bondi pulled another folder from the bottom shelf. She opened it. This one has photographs of a federal judge. The photographs are dated 2018. The locations are not appropriate for a federal judge. The judge is still sitting on the bench. Do you want to tell me how you got these, or should I assume the worst? Trump's jaw clenched. I did not take those photographs. But you have them. They were given to me. By whom? By someone who wanted me to have leverage over that judge? Did you use that leverage? Trump did not answer. Donald, did you use photographs to influence a federal judge? I may have mentioned that certain materials existed. That is blackmail. That is politics. That is a felony. Then a lot of people in this city are felons? Bondi pulled another folder. This one contains bank records, offshore accounts. The account holder's name is redacted, but the transactions total $180 million over 3 years. Who does this account belong to? Trump looked at the folder. A senator. Which senator? I am not saying without immunity. You do not get to negotiate. Which senator? Trump stood again. I want my attorneys. Your attorneys cannot help you now. Answer the question. I am done answering questions. Bondi stood. She gathered all the folders from the desk. Then I am taking these files into federal custody. You cannot do that. Watch me. Trump stepped toward her. Those files are mine. Those files are evidence, and if you try to stop me from leaving with them, you will be charged with obstruction. Trump's phone rang. He looked at the screen. He did not answer it. It rang again. Bondi walked toward the door with the folders. Trump's voice stopped her. If you take those files, people will die. Bondi turned. Explain that. Those files are the only reason certain people have not moved against me. If you take them, I lose that protection. That sounds like your problem, not mine. It will become your problem when bodies start showing up. Bondi walked back to the desk. She set the folders down. Are you threatening me? I am warning you. Those files are keeping dangerous people in check. You take them. You unleash something you cannot control. Who are these dangerous people? People who have spent years making sure certain truths stay buried. What truths? Trump looked at the safe. Then he looked at Bondi. The truth about who really runs this country, and it is not the people you think. The room stayed silent for almost 20 seconds. Then Bondi spoke. You are coming with me. You are going to sit down with federal prosecutors. You are going to explain every file in that safe, and you are going to name every name, or you are going to be charged with obstruction, blackmail, and illegal retention of classified materials. Those are your options. Trump sat back down. If I do that, I need protection. From whom? From everyone. Bondi pulled her phone out. She made a call.